Um, Sending my love to all of you and thank you for all the love that I've been receiving while I've been here this weekend. It's just powerful and amazing. I have a little different perspective because usually I'm doing the Andara crystals or the little intuitive readings, and I get laser focused. Um, like a certain kind of tunnel vision. So my connection doesn't get to be with everyone necessarily, but deep connections with those that come up and have exchanges with me. Thank you. So it's a little different, but one thing I notice is just the how we all grow each other's light, and it's we're all like little sparks, and so I definitely want to talk about that a little bit. Uh, so, ah, Forgive me. I had all this stuff prepared and a lot of things that felt like juicy, like I should read them, and I'm feeling like I shouldn't. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. But basically, I want to talk a little bit. Last year, I spoke about who the Pleiadians were and what their role was. And obviously, there are so many that we have multiple star families, and many of us have been multiple things. And it gets a little confusing when you talk about, you're a Pleiadian starseed, or you're a Lemurian starseed from Series B. It's like we overlap. I mean, if you read some of the books that are out about the Lemurians, I mean, they've been on Venus, they've been with the Pleiadians, they've been in Sirius B. So it's all the above. And I wish kind of Lisa and Vicky were. Lisa, I'm talking about you. Hey, Lisa, I'm talking about you. Would you make your grand entrance? Come over here. That's my Lisa. um, so it's just funny because Lisa and Vicky have, talking about Star Family, have really developed a very good sense of, being able to communicate and get those messages from them. So I wish and hope that she speaks. And if you want to pop up at any point, Lisa, please do. But I'm going to speak just about the Pleiadian piece. Those crystals that I work with, the master crystals, monatomic Andara crystals, are just from another dimension. They're here, but they also have legs in other dimensions. And I've never experienced any other crystals like them. This feels a little low. Yes. And I bring them not only because I've worked a lot with the Pleiadians, have been Pleiadian, but also very much remember much of my Lemurian self and lifetimes, and I resonate deeply with them. So they're not cheap because they're a limited supply, and some are very rare, but I bring them to play with, so no one should ever feel that. Can I get some help maybe raising this up a little bit so I don't lean? Thank you, Angel. Thank you. I don't ever discourage anyone. They're connected to one of my purposes. Thank you. I'm leaning in. I'll make a little love with this microphone. It's one of my services and purposes to bring those forward. And I'm supposed to be working on a book. I was given permission to do the book. So those little labels in the boxes are descriptions that you won't find online. And anyone is welcome, because I do that. And like I said, I get so laser focused to come and play and just feel them and interact with them. Often putting them in your left hand, you're really receiving the energy from them. And they can do things with you. They work directly with your own Kundalini when you're innate, intelligent force that moves through your chakras. So that's just one of the things that I do. And so I always am willing, if people are interested in buying one or not, it doesn't at all matter. There's these free little mini readings, for just a minute or so, where I'm able somehow, and probably the Andaras themselves help open that up in me to a greater degree. I will see the sacred geometry sometimes in whatever movement it's doing, and see the colors, hear the tones, and sometimes get messages. So it's mostly visual, but it can open up the audio too. And that's really fun because a lot of times there'll be 3 andaras that they'll read, and there'll be 3 different colors. But there might be one type of sacred geometry that's coming in. Well, it's not really that andara is doing it. It's that sacred geometry in the form of light. That light is already working with them, and so maybe they're working with the pyramid form. Maybe they're working with the Merkaba or any of the other things that come. And so it's kind of an interesting little adventure to see sometimes how the light is working with you. So it's not always about your connection at that moment to the crystal. Sometimes it's about what's happening for you with the light. Because you all know that we've been getting, so many M-class, X-class solar flares, but then everyone talks about the event that's coming, and that event is probably an ascension event, and it might be bigger than those M-class or X-class flares, which really bring in the photonic light, and that helps us. That helps us with the ascension energies. Just like when we moved into, the Kuiper belt or whatever that shifted the magnetics on the planet, so we weren't so held down, so we could benefit from these energies. So everything is working together in a beautiful way. And we're getting those DNA upgrades, and we're feeling it. So yesterday there was a lot of talk about us, AM being ascended master, and that we've already had and are just opening up the parts of our Akash that we remember when we've done, healing and all different kinds of gifts. And, excuse me. And those gifts, they're just opening up as we remember them in a beautiful way. And we're sharing them together, which is what I so love. But a lot of times it's so exhausting here because there is so much light, and because we do grow each other's light so much that there's some recalibration and some gravitation that we have to adjust to. And so sometimes you need a little extra sleep or whatever, because our light is one thing, but when we come together with all this light, it is a tremendous power that we carry together in that collective. And it's really a sacred mission. So that's part of what I want to talk about a little bit. And I also want to talk about the Pleiadians who love the Lemurians and who are really here. I didn't get to come to the April Sisterhood because I was off at a residency program getting the frequencies of brilliance. It was the most profound 2 weeks probably of my life. It was so powerful. And, that thing about them walking among us, they're definitely here. There were hybrids there that did not look human, and they're working, and we're sharing the table. Okay, your turn to be down, my turn to be the worker, and you're working with hybrids, and that's what we're walking into. And then to be initiated every day to 240 points on the body where you have to enter through multidimensional doorways and tunnels to be able to remove seals that have been here for eons, that it wasn't time to have them removed before, but now we can. So as we initiate and welcome others to more of their own light, we can, as the worker too, receive that light in those initiations. It was just profound. And so to have a Pleiadian incarnate standing in front of you every day as a transmission so that you could work on those few little points on the body, holding your hands, looking it straight in your eyes and singing light language to you, and your heart just thumping out of your chest, was powerful. It was really beautiful, powerful experience. At one point, we were in a circle before getting on the tables, and we did some other multidimensional work. But there was always a sacred circle every day as we opened. And this is just one example of a lot of work that I've done with the Pleiadians, because it's been years for me. Most people that know me know I come more from a yoga background with, ashram experience and liking, being on the I don't know if you'd call it the Ascended Master beat or what, but if somebody was giving darshan, I was trying to be there. So that's more my background than this, but things are changing and opening up all the time. And where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, I had one beautiful experience where we were in Sacred Circle, and the Pleiadians brought in a sacred pipe, not a pipe that's ever been smoked. And nothing was said. We were just sitting there for a moment, and I saw the pipe spin down from some other dimension and spiral down and land into the pipe that was right near the portal, elevated on two stones. It was a beautiful sacred pipe. And so I knew it was symbolic and of another dimension. And as soon as we got into these pyramid formations that we were working on, we were then receiving that pipe. And it was so beautiful. It spun in. The Pleiadian woman was talking, about receiving, and I think it came from the sun over the water, and it spiraled in just like I had seen it. But when it hit my heart turned into this huge, brilliant gold faucet, and it was just streaming out. And this woman said it was gushing out. It was liquid golden light. And from that point forward, every time I would lay my hands on someone's body to do any of the work, that golden light was just flowing out. So yeah, it was really neat. So I love the tools, and we've been teachers and masters. We've had many teachers, and what is it? White Bear just said, that we have to be our own teachers. But who you resonate with at a certain time, sometimes that's the one that you're supposed to be working with. And so I have a little invitation for you today. Should have brought my water up here. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. It's over on my table. Don't worry about it. It's far. So, you said thank you. I feel so much love. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. See how we're also taken care of here. Now to open it. Aw. And your mother always said, don't use your teeth. Try to listen to that voice in my head once in a while. Thank you. So, the invitation, and I will get together with Mel and see if, send you some links and some, a group email about it in case anyone is interested. But, I don't know that much, as much as many people do about the light grid, but I know it's been messed with. But those higher level beings from other dimensions, they're not going to let that happen. They keep raising us up and helping us ascend so that whatever comes our way, we're stronger and we're higher vibrating, and it's so obvious that the light is so much stronger than the dark because we've been hit, but it's like it's not getting us down, and I can know so many people that are having that experience. So they did mess with the grid as far as I know and understand. Not an expert there, but the Pleiadian woman that I mostly work with is, her name is Christine Day, and I always tell people about her because I think she holds a really wonderful platform for launching us into more of our own light. And what I've done over the years with her, every time I've done something, I've experienced, a higher level of myself opening up. And so it's been good. But her site, she calls herself the Pleiadian Ambassador, and you can see and tell, her eyes sparkle in a certain way. You could just kind of feel it. But she'll talk about it in the link that I'll send, but basically was taken up on a spacecraft and kind of reunited with all her Pleiadian aspects so that she could hold this, launch this platform for some of us that are interested. And one thing, last year I spoke about the activation of the dove, which was an old Hopi prophecy, and Christine was the one who saw that through to fruition, and that was the Hopi had said that when the dove was activated on Earth, that Christ would return to Earth. And that was a series of a lot of light workers working with advanced beings who were going all over South America in different places and gathering rocks and crystals and doing sacred ceremony and then taking them to the next place and uniting all of this. And the tail of the dove, that was the last part of the installation, and that was in Grand Marais, Minnesota, where there's a Lemurian city under the lake, and you can sit on her land near the fire pit and watch out over the water, and you can literally see the spaceships flying in and out, and crystalline structures and all of that. But that land, they had it for about 10 years, and now they've gone to Uluru, back to where the Aboriginal are that the Pleiadians had worked with many eons ago, because Christine herself is Australian. But that land, there was set up a galactic receiving station right there. And it's like a mini Stonehenge. There are these huge boulders that are very, very conscious. And they were taken in. And Christine tells me she lives, many layers down to get to the water, so it's very steep, and nobody can really understand how this galactic receiving station got set up. And Christine tells the story that when that caterpillar truck, whatever, it came down, that she's watched the Pleiadians take over the body of the driver to get these boulders to be just in the right spot and how to do it, because it was kind of a feat. At any rate, that is definitely an active grid point. And there are two Lemurian portals and a Pleiadian portal that are spiraled into the ground, layered with layers and layers, at least 12 deep, of crystals. And they're portals that you can really interact with multidimensionally. So it's really a sacred spot. Well, that land in Grand Marais, which was the tail of the dove, in April 27th of 2019, when that last piece of the dove was installed, is when it was activated. And that is the day that they say that the earth began to finally, we were out of sync with the rest of the resonant universe, and we began to resonate at the same vibration as the other planetary, whatever you call them. You know what I mean. We weren't out of sync anymore with the rest of the universe. So right now what's happening is they're in a place called Alice Springs near Uluru, that a lot of you know. Some people think it's the heart chakra of Mother Earth. And they're doing this new grid work. And I know, because I've seen it at my table. Where's Manon? I don't know if she's here. I saw something in her, like we both knew clearly from the experience that we were sharing that it was a destiny call. And I knew it too when I heard it. My heart was just burning and on fire, and I could totally feel it was a pre-agreement. So a lot of us have that form of light worker in us. I mean, there's a lot of different types of light workers, but some of us have that one to really work with the grids. And so what is happening now is the Pleiadians have come in and said that there needs to be, they call it the diamond arc. It's a connecting point between that energy in Uluru, or Alice Springs, and the point of the tail of the dove. And so it's a large arc, and how it's happening is freaking amazing. And I really do hope that if any of you resonate with it, when I share a little bit about it, that you join in. So, like I'm going to send everybody an email with the links and the how-to. I'll get little instructions like, you go to Christine Day Online, you open up the store, you look for Diamond Arc, you sign up for that class. But guess what? A lot of those things are not cheap, because we are meant to put that effort and make those choices and make the time and do that. It's the way we tell the universe that we want more of the same. Well, this is the first time from some very expensive classes that the Pleiadians have told her that she needs to do this completely free. Yeah, it's completely free. So now you're getting into the possibility of some very high-level work for free. And what you're doing is quite amazing, and it really takes a light worker. So you have to start from the beginning. because they've been going on about once every couple weeks for maybe 6, 7 times now. I'm not sure. So you start from the beginning. It will all be pre-recorded. So you download it, and then you're taken through a series of work within the chakras and working along with her voice, doing your release, letting go. And as you're moving forward into this light, she often says, whatever you're seeing, sensing, feeling. But she brings forward these channeled multidimensional imagery. And I know it's real because oddly, a few years back, I started getting downloaded with the same ones. And you know how that happens where you get a download and then you see somebody else and it's like Spirit doesn't talk to one of us, they're talking to 20 of us or more, And so they're very interesting. They look like little doodles, like little black and white doodles, like somebody was playing with a felt tip marker. But they are multidimensional and they have spots in there that where your awareness goes, the energy flows. And so you're using some of that imagery to basically launch and, working with certain chakra points and things. And so it's all guided. You won't have to need any prerequisite to do it. But basically, some of us are weavers, some of us are light weavers. And we are literally working with the threads of light. We go through a process and we pull them out of ourselves. And we then weave it into the arc. It's really profound and beautiful. And even if you don't stick with it, it's really cool just to have a free opportunity to go and try it. So if anyone's drawn necessarily to the Pleiadians, I really recommend that. And when it's established, then there will be an arc of light on the grid between Alice Springs or near Uluru and Grand Marais, Minnesota. And it's just a place in Australia where that was Aboriginal land, and the Pleiadians came down. I don't know if you heard the stories about the magic box, and the first contact for them, I guess, was with Aboriginal people. And so there are still those connections. There are a lot of caves and things that people have experiences, and there's big international conferences in Uluru. I don't know if anyone's ever been. I haven't been myself yet, but a lot of spiritual activity going on near there. And like I said, some people believe it to be the heart chakra, Mother Earth. So does anybody? You want to share anything else about that? Because I'm... Okay. 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 Oh, okay. So I will send directions through Mel, if Mel is here, for everyone to join in on that if they care to. And yeah, I guess I just wanted to talk about the fact that the earth is really shifting. We all know that, and we're shifting right along with it. And they're saying that there's going to be the most radical shift within a year. And so I don't know if you've noticed, talking to people here, but have you noticed how everybody's life, like, they're either going through big releases of stuff or their life is taking a different path, and we're being really put out onto new platforms. And even what is happening kind of blows my mind within the sisterhood and us. We're being pushed out into the world. I find it kind of perfect and in the way it's all happening. And I think that there are sacred circles where we're all attuning. We're like little sparks of light just through our heart cells, and we our sparks become a flame, then they become a fire, and they're bigger and bigger. But we're not meant to keep this to ourselves. So what happens, and this is actually an old Lemurian construct. I've seen it in several books. It's the energy of the circle. Hello, Divine Feminine. And what happens is the circles circle out. So you're a sacred circle, and then your energy grows, and then each person in that circle circles out. And guess what? It's just like that seed of life that just keeps circling out, as within, so without. Well, there's sacred geometry. Look at us. We look just like the seed of life, circling in circles. circling out. Um, so, so basically, we're given this new framework to launch ourselves on, and the energetics are really different. And I know you're all feeling them. I see it in your eyes. I feel it myself. Really feel it feels really like being in 5D here. So, the more that we grow and launch and continue to support and help each other, the more we are growing New Earth. And part of that is to help each other through. I'm not saying that we don't need to take care of ourselves and on our own process and do our own thing, but we need to hold that light, honor ourselves, love ourselves, and love each other with non-judgment, really. It's kind of not spoken about enough. I think it's so easy with our programming and the way we've been culturally trained to fall into judgment in little subtle ways. And it's time, that to drop those little ego constructs, really take responsibility for ourselves. We know that we're all mirrors and that we're all creators of our own reality, and there's no victims. We've all come here. We had all kinds of pre-agreements with friends, acquaintances, neighbors. We're playing our roles out. And we're learning the lessons that we chose to learn when we came here. So sometimes I think about the beings in the other dimensions. Obviously, not having to live in this very dense 3D world. I mean, we were masters too. We literally had to descend to come to Earth. Now we're ascending again, thank God. But we knew we were going to forget who we were and all this great stuff and great tools and techniques and all that beauty to have to come here. But we did it and we sacrificed. Why? Because we're getting it back up there and we're taking the planet and everyone along with us. But what I was going to say about that is each time we maybe have a little ego thought or construct or some kind of judgment come up, and forget that we are not just procreators, that we can create through sex and have children, but we are such, obviously, here alchemists, so we all know about creating with our mind, but sometimes we just forget that we're doing that. And so one of the things I think that's important is that as we get into more of the witness consciousness, don't let it grip us, and just step back and look at it. Oh, there's that thought. I didn't really mean to judge that woman. That was probably a reflection of my own self, just witnessing it and looking at it, we dissolve those barriers and we take a little piece of the density for everybody else too, because that's one little tiny piece of density that is now gone from Earth. And that's what we all do. That's really a lot of what makes us light workers. But I feel like there's like a lack of self-love on the planet that is, it's dying and we're dissolving it, but we need to still work at it. It's kind of like an old paradigm construct that needs to continue to die, because as we come together in love and in our circles, in that non-judgment, we're holding our own light, we're in self-love, we're holding and seeing the highest potential in each one. And everybody does it here for each other. You don't see their garbage. You see, oh my God, this person has this gift and they're so amazing and they do this and they do that. We see that love. And you know what? The last person to receive sometimes, we forget to give it to ourselves, right? Raise your hand if you do that, because I know I do that. I'm the last one in line sometimes. It's not supposed to be like that either. So, and it's all about a course, and we practice it, we do it, being in the heart, dropping into our heart, and sharing that love and light out. And holding that platform for other people, because that's one of the ways we share our light. That's how we grow each other's light. That's how other people can relax and feel safe and let go and release parts of themselves that they don't really want to hold on to anymore. So that was kind of, let's see. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that Because we all have. Okay, so last year I was talking about the DNA and how we were really supposed to be at least 12 strand, and that junk DNA was never junk. And I talked about how we got unplugged. They basically unplugged everything they could except for the first chakra, because that's how we still needed to procreate, and they couldn't totally unplug that. So we talked a little more about that last time, but this time I just wanted to talk about how, as we recognize those different gifts and uniqueness, and to know that we don't have to be perfect. We really don't have to be perfect to ascend. I fell into that trap in the 80s because I'm looking at ascended masters. Oh my God, how did they become perfect? But we always are going to be human. We always are going to be perfectly imperfect, and it's okay. And so there's that self-love that we can give ourselves and give each other. And then in our sacred circles, as we come together in circles, one of the amazing things that happened as this energy shifts is that we are reconnecting with the ones that we're supposed to be connecting with, that maybe we haven't seen for many, many lifetimes. But guess what? We carry a unique DNA code that activates something in them for their unique DNA code. And we're really holding space for each other energetically in ways that we're not even totally conscious of yet. So the circle and the collective is a huge construct right now. So much so that, and I won't use names, but I'm going to own this. This isn't the only group, and it's not the Pleiadians that I get involved with on a task force to really go up in an etheric pyramid and do some healing work and help the planet. And they're a similar group to the Pleiadians, but that task force usually meets once a week. Last month, Rebecca knows, I don't know if it was, I think it was last month, wasn't it? So they contacted us and said that we needed to delete all of our emails, to not make any contact with them, to delete their name, and they gave us certain words and things that we were going to have to search on, even on our computers and phones, to delete all of that. And they said that we needed to go rogue for a month, not to contact them, that we needed to just go, into our own worlds hiding and not be active, because we were at risk. And it was that they would contact us later and reconvene, which they did. But the reason that they gave us is because, like I myself in Green Bay, I just started Light of Ascension Mystery School, and I have 20 students, and we just completed level 1. And there are 3 levels, and then we're going to be a real true collective. But the extra power and energy that is given right now for people that are coming into sacred circles is just phenomenal. If you can get a piece of it, I really recommend it, because I thought, okay, we're going to become a sacred circle. I'm going to have everybody do some of the same little activities. So we're going to attune our energy together, and maybe we start out, we each get a little bit of the same oil. We're all going to put it on our, those kinds of things. And then the homework, a lot of attuning things, but it really was easy and painless to become the sacred circle that we did, where these 20 people would come back, and I just have a little moment for sharing what their experiences were during the week, what their homework, and they're all having the same kind of experiences to a really crazy, very highly synchronistic level. And I realize that we're being helped right now, and there's a special energy being given, and it's for the collective. And the reason this group and this task force told us that we needed to go out, not communicate for a month, was because those of us that were doing collectives or that had collectives, we were in danger. That's how afraid of our power of unifying in love they are and always have been. Now they're starting to attack people that have groups. Like, how crazy is that? And guess what? We all saw it last year. We saw it last year. How many people would somebody comment on that so I don't have to speak it? But it was intense, wasn't it? What would you say about that?
I like to be positive, so I like to see that as a lesson, exactly what you're saying. We have to be aware and ask for the protection, the shroud.
Yeah, and they came around and they banged a few drums, but they didn't touch anyone. You know, that was still obvious. Even then, the light was stronger, but they made some noise, didn't they? I mean, there were people in the tent. What? Somebody comment on that. I didn't.
Like a group of people came up that was being and stuff that was not associated with this group.
Lauren or Julie or I'm feeling. Where is she? Nancy.
Yeah, that's what I was aware of, the bad weather.
Okay, but it was a little more than bad weather. And there were some crazy freak experiences that people were having, and the ETs were here probably protecting. There was some protection going on because there were some other energies that were trying to obliterate some of the work that we were doing, and they weren't successful. So I'm staying positive, and because that's always assured. I mean, we always know the light is stronger than the dark. But they came around. We got their attention in a profound way. And I would share more about that, but I don't know what's okay or not. And, so yeah. So, so I guess just, knowing that we all have this unique heart component and our frequency is different from everyone else's frequency. Your whole electromagnetic, signal is different. Your DNA structure is different. And so it doesn't matter as much. Well, okay, take it back. It matters a lot that we raise our frequency because we have this bandwidth and we resonate light outwards. And if we have a little tiny bandwidth, then we're only going to receive signals to get back frequencies and light to the degree that we can. So if we're raising our frequency and widening our bandwidth, we're projecting more, we're going to get back more. And so that's always helpful with ascension. But what was I saying? Doesn't matter. I'm losing my track here. But in the circle, it's a different construct because we each carry this unique frequency. Let's say Vina sends out a tone and Julie sends out a tone, and everybody's tone is different. And if you really could hear frequencies, you'd hear the difference, all the little subtleties in their voice, and everything about it is uniquely them, right? But when we get together and we all do a tone together, we're in that group frequency, and what is heard by spirit and the signal that we send out is 100% different than what Julie sends out or Vina sends out. And it's so much stronger because there is special power in the circle right now. That's what I mostly wanted to say. And I'm really experiencing that firsthand, and I experience it every time I come here. So I just want to say a few more things. And I had some juicy things in my notes. I'm not going to go there because it's already a while. But I just want to talk a little bit about that perfection and letting go of that. We don't need to be perfect to be enlightened. There are really no victims. We're all just playing our roles. And if we can shift, that idea of our idiosyncrasies and our humanness and have more love and accept ourselves, then it is only natural to think and to know that we're going to do that for others because we do that for ourselves. So self-love is also so important, not just because of it, but because we then can do it for others, and we then can be in less judgment, and we then can really raise our collective consciousness and energy together. And, when we leave here, aren't we all a little sad? It's like, oh my God, I got to leave those great people and I got to leave this great energy. And am I going to feel that same energy when I go back to all the rest of my 3D stuff? And I'm telling you today that I think the answer to that is set up your sacred circles. because there's a special power for it right now. And that's kind of what's happening within Sakkara when you think about it, within our little group. We're talking and we're always one step ahead. We're always one step ahead of the vibe, you know? Just seems like everything we do here is so perfect. And it's like we're branching out in different and new ways. And that change is kind of also planetary. It's like it happens within us individually and it happens for us all collectively. I have my individual karma. Boy, I'm in that group karma too. And I'm in that collective process too, just like you are. I mean, you know, United States just went through their Pluto return in the second house, God forbid, hit them hard on finances. And some of us are feeling that too. A lot of us are. So we don't live in a bubble. And I guess that's all I wanted to say. Everything that we do, you know, we do for that, for love and for others too. So I know on a certain level, you know, you get beyond it all and you realize there is no other because it's all just one mirror and we're all part of that one God source. So we all really are one, but we're still operating in 3D enough to know that we kind of are aware of the other. So for now, I'm still going to use that word other. So we're I think, and part of this is what I get intuitively. I really feel like there are newer patterns and higher light vibrations that are coming in. And if we can work a little bit more collectively and with each other, there's some of them that we'll really be able to receive in a different way. And I think that there's going to be a time, maybe soon, maybe within a year, where us having established these circles and these collectives and high energy places where there's unity among souls, that's going to be something we really fall back on and something we really need. So should we circle out? Yeah. Go forth, march, share your light, shine. Thank you.